It's my birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Happy 61 to me. And today, of course, we have no sun out. It's a lot cooler. I suppose the Indian summer is over for another year, though hopefully not. And today, Dan booked us in for the Westons Cider Farm tour. This is on the edge of the village of Much Marcle in Herefordshire. And as you can see, it says a perfect day for it, and I think because of the weather it certainly is. We can smell the apples from here as well. I can almost taste the cider through the smell of the apples. I'm really excited, so let's get started. Do you think they're banging the cider kegs?
Probably.
It's pretty, isn't it? Tours and shop.
Reception first.
Sweet, dry, what sort of cider do you like? I'll go around and see what people say. Sweeter one for yourself? You like perry? Ooh, very nice. You're a perry as well? Dry cider for yourselves?
Dry cider or medium dry?
Medium dry.
Dry.
Dry,
Yeah.
like a dry, yeah.
Dry.
Dry. Sweet. Sweet. Got a bit of a mixture going on here. It's going to be an interesting tasting later. What about yourself?
I'll go halfway.
Medium in the middle. Anybody else got anything different? If you don't mind any of it, that sounds good to me. That makes it easy for me. So when we go for our tasting, we'll have a bit of a mixture so that everybody gets to try something, okay? And some people will say they like perry as well, which is even better because we also tried a perry as well. Which I'm going to start off with a little bit of history, okay? Let me show you a lovely old picture of Henry Weston himself. Here he is. There he is. It's very heavy, this book. There you go. just see it.
Is he sober or drunk?
Looking after the children, I imagine he would be quite sober. So Henry Weston moved here in 1878. When he moved here, he wanted to be a cattle farmer. Okay, didn't come to make cider, actually came here to breed cattle. We think this is Edwardian times because of his hat. Look at his hat, it's very Edwardian. There's 3 of his sons, the next generation of cider makers around him, and he's got a lovely dog Tango next to him. Lovely old picture, isn't it? Like I said, he came to breed cattle. Now the kind of cattle he breeding was a bit like this one. I'll show you a coloured picture, it's a bit easier to see. Anyone know what breed of cattle that is? Herefords, yeah. So this is Ronaldo. He was Hereford United's mascot for many years. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. It's quite an old picture, this one. But he was quite a beast, as you can see, but very, very placid. Really lovely. So anyway, Henry Weston noticed a lot of the other farmers around this area would actually pay a third of the wages in cider. And he thought, oh, why don't I start making cider? I'm surrounded by like 340 acres of apple orchards here. I might as well start making cider. So he started to make cider. And he would pay the staff in cider 1/3 of their wages in 2 of these. I'll give you one to pass around. 1, 2, there you go. Pass that one around. So these are English oak. There are 3 pints in each of these. So they'd have 6 pints a day, 6 days a week. And I think it was very strong stuff, like 10 to 15% as well. So really, really strong. And they would 6 pints of that. 10 to 15%. Everything was in 2 of those a day they'd have. But you guys remember the water wasn't particularly big for the back then. He got a very good reputation for his cider making. So, and a lot of the other farms lost workers to come here because the cider was so good. Which it was a bit like, ooh, watch out. So what happened was the other farmers around actually decided to bring their apples to here, and he started making the cider here. That's why if you look on the logo, it says 1880, because that's the year that he started to make the cider commercially. Okay? So before that he was making it for the workers, and then he started to sell it. Okay? So we are still very much run by the Westons family, which is very unusual nowadays. Quite often get taken over, don't they, by bigger companies. We are independently run. So we are running, sorry, this is Helen, she's our managing director. She is Henry Weston's great-great-granddaughter. Next to her, here, this is Henry Weston, he's her brother, and he looks after all of the orchards. Quite often see him up a ladder, pruning a tree, bless him. And also Helen's son Guy, he's our chief cider maker and our new product developer as well. Okay, and you'll see him, he's on the film in a few moments. Let's pop the film on, have a little look at the film. Okay. Put something full of the chat.
So we're all in our high-vis garb.
It was built on the boundary of two Celtic tribes. Beautiful old house. This is where Henry Weston moved in 1878 with his wife, Emily. They just got married. They were 28 when they got married, which was quite late back then to get married. Didn't have any children. Started making cider. 9 children they had. So out the front they've got one of those lovely old presses. It's now a lovely flower bed with the stone that when goes round the horse will take it. So that's what Henry Weston would have used back then, and then it also would have used a press a bit like the one that you can see behind me here. Come a little bit closer to this display. This is a hydraulic press. Now this was quite unusual. The hydraulics actually work from the bottom and press upwards. You always think it was going to go downwards, wouldn't you? But for this one it's very strange. These layers here, they're called cheeses. So this is nylon, but it probably would have been like horsehair or like hessian type sacking back then. We put the apples inside there, pressed it, and the juice would have come out of a tube at the end, the side. If you look, there's a picture of it just in the window, just behind you there. Can you see there's a man looking very sticky? Poor man. So yeah, just on the floor where your feet can see, we'd have just pulled them in and out when they wanted to use them. We had 6 of these, and these were still 1999. Whereas now we've got those really big presses that we use now, so obviously we've moved on from these now.
They're lucky to see these because they're normally there in the field outside.
The business back in Herefordshire, and we wanted to keep that tradition going. Okay, so we've got 3, as you can see. This is the biggest one. This is Reg. Behind him is Jed. He's the oldest one. He's 19. He's getting a little bit doddle. He's got arthritis in his knees, bless him. So what they're doing is they're training Buzz, who's inside the stable, and he will take over from him. He'll retire up to the farm, bless him. But he's still going strong at the moment.
So how often do you deliver?
So we don't really deliver. The only time we have deliveries is for marketing more than anything. Yeah. So back in Henry Weston's time, they would deliver on a dray, a bit like the blue one you can see, and they would go to the local pubs with the cider. Then there's a train station opened in Dimmock, which is about 5 miles away in 1885, and they used to take the trains that go all over the country then. And then obviously we don't use them for that now. We use them for marketing purposes. We use them to go to the shows, get all dressed up, looking lovely. And we also do weddings. You see the white carriage at the end. That's when they use that for the weddings. We also have a shy horse experience there, which I think is tremendous. It depends on the weather outside. So if it's a bit warmer like this time of year, it can go quite quickly. Whereas December, when it's a bit colder, it might take about 8 weeks for it to ferment. What happens is the yeast is spent. It drops down to the bottom, and they draw that away, and they actually use that on the farmers' fields for fertiliser. So it all gets used up. There's no waste, which is fantastic, isn't it? Now, at this point, it can be moved on to maturation, which we're going to go up to in a few moments, or it can be stored here. Okay, so once it's fermented, it can be stored because it needs to last us the whole year. Okay, so each of these are 200,000 litres. Any guesses how many we've got? A lot. A bit more than 20? A bit more, keep going up. this is Rose's Pig. We've got a cider named after this truck. They called it Rose's Pig because it was a pig to start and a pig to drive. That's what they called it. These are 1950s and 410s as well. So obviously the first sort of delivery trucks were the Shire horses, and then we went to something a bit like the one you can see on this picture here. So this is the old style one, and then obviously 1950s was a bit more like this one. This one hasn't got an engine in anymore. They do still take her out to shows. They give her a polish up. They put apples in the back, make it look lovely. They take it to the three county shows quite often. And same with the little tuck as well. There's lovely old pictures around the top. This one I like. The wine of the West. Drink Westons cider and be content. What can you ask for? This picture here with the shop. That was a shop that they opened in London, 1950s. I'm not sure exactly the year. It was back in the 1950s they opened that shop. I like, you can see the men in the background drinking part of their 6 pints, I think. The bull pit, and where the restaurant was a cowshed. Don't really have cleaned it since then. It's an old bull cart here, and this is part of an old press, you can see here. Okay.
What's that car in the shape of a bottle?
I think it was probably the promotion.
Was this another market?
Yeah.
Smell the apples, can't we?
It's
We
gorgeous.
can smell the alcohol too.
Yeah. The
Hopefully.
cider we've had this trip has been amazing, but I do like Western cider in particular, especially Old Rosa.
Yeah, this is very nice.
Some of the others are good though as well. I haven't tasted them all because I only really like dry or medium dry, but those are all very good.
They are very nice.
I like perry, but I don't like sweet perry. I prefer
No.
a bit on the dry.
It smells very boozy round here. Hopefully it won't put me over the limit, the smell. Just tipped apples.
The fiberglass coating on this, so it makes it easier to wash it down. It's quite new. This was done a couple of weeks ago.
How many tons do these hold of apples?
I'm not sure. So because they're all different sizes. Like that one over there is much smaller. We've also got one for organic apples and then they go round the back and down the hill to the presses. It's kind of good to put it on a hill here because it naturally goes down. Quite lucky, really.
It's a bit like a set from a 1970s Doctor Who in here.
Made with English oak. Okay? All different sizes in here. These five you can see behind me, these are named after Herefordshire daughters. We've got Jessie, Lucy, Hilda and Dora. And these are in gallons, 5,500 gallons. Very small compared to this one. This one's called Prince, 75 years old. They acquired it in the year that Prince Charles was born. Should take it to King now, shouldn't we? And that one's got 30,000 gallons in that one. But we have got a bigger one, right in the back here, the silver strip. Can you see that one there? 42,000 gallons in that one. That's King George V. If you were to drink a moderate amount of pints a day, it would take you 230 years. Who's up for the challenge? There's probably around 10% when it's in these pants. Strong stuff, really strong stuff. So you can get a camera, look at
Cooper.
underneath, tighten up the bolts, useful type if they need to be done. They all put linseed oil on there just to check there's no sponginess. The problem with these is if they dry out, like the force back to the death of one of these. Okay? We did have one that did dry out, which is very, very sad. We've taken it down now. We've got a piece of her. How thick the bridges that they use, and just have a feel and pass it around how heavy that one little bit is, like how heavy that would be. It's called maturation in here. So maturation is about mature, it's very lively and bubbly. Maturation is like, it's almost like just chilling for a bit, maturing. So different products stay in here for different amounts of time. Then you can try to stay for press. It's quite light and fruity, isn't that one? That one only stays in here for 3 months. We also do one called Old Rosy, from a scrumpy style. Some of you might have tried that one. That one stays in here for 18 months. It's really drawing in those oaky flavours.
It's one of my favourites.
That's one of my favourites.
So on your own, that's what it is, because it's stuck in here, but it's making those lovely flavours for you. Vintage one, I think it's 9 months that one stays in here. So different, like in the 1980s, a lot of the other companies actually started to go into using the sort of stainless steel type one because they are easier to keep clean. You know, they can just easily spray
filtration system. Blending tanks.
Sugar at this point, some different noises today. Like sugar at this point, they might put some fruit one, like a rhubarb when they put the rhubarb juice in this. This is the motor in here, and it's got a big paddle inside that mixes it around. So it's kind of like a food mixer. So that's how I imagine it in my head. Never seen inside it, but that's what I can imagine it looks like. So it mixes it around and blends it together. From blending, and it'll go to bottling or canning, and wherever it goes to from there. So we blend around 50 different types of cider here. 25 of those are Henry Weston products. Okay, but we also make cider for other companies as well. Do we make Jeremy Clarkson cider here? Yeah. Yes. We also make lots of supermarket ciders here as well. But if anybody's tried any in the supermarkets, that might be ours. Anybody tried the Aldi one? It's called Orchard.
Yes.
That is one that we make here. There's one in Lidl's called Woodgate. Heard of that one yet? That one's also one that we make here. Now, all of the Henry Weston products have to go through the OVATs. Whereas the ones in supermarkets don't necessarily have to go through them. Some of them do, some of them don't. Look at the packaging. You might say, oh no, it's going through the OVATs. You're not going to go backwards. Just go by. Okay, any questions about that? We do a 0.5 one. We find it quite hard to get it zero with apples because the fermentation process tend to just very close, but they are trying to work on one at the moment. Anybody tried that? The low alcohol one. It's actually pretty good, I think. Yeah. It's nice if you're driving. Yeah.
So I'd give it a go.
I just like alcohol.
It does taste very much like that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back up the hill and across the way.
I did suspect that the Orchard from Aldi might be Westons.
Yeah.
Because it has that kind of trademark taste. I'm not surprised. If a 0.5 is good, I have to give it a try.
Yeah, I'd give it a go.
Yeah, especially if you're driving.
Yes, definitely.
I like some of the low alcohol beers.
Oh, they're nice, yeah.
I do like
Yeah, they have improved over the years.
Yeah, at one time they were horrible, but they're quite good now.
Okay, so we are at one of the orchards here. This is called Top Orchard, this one. This is where before Henry Weston came here. Some of these trees are over 150 years old. Incredible, isn't it? And they're all different varieties. So this kind of older side orchard would only be modern, efficient style orchards, which are more like 200 but they plant those in long rows. You might see them on the way here. They do that so that the fruit will go along. And also when it comes to harvest time, they just grab the bottom and shake the tree because the tree, they drop to the floor and then another machine collects them up. It's very quick, very efficient way of doing it. Okay? This is an organic orchard that we've got here. It's very different how you treat the organic. They use a lug, a long pole with a hook and they shake the trees and then people collect compost. Much more manpower going into the organic cider. We've got to be very careful what chemicals and pesticides that we use in there. Everything has to be approved by the city. Just make sure that we're ticking off all those things that they tell us to do. We try not to take too much machinery in there. So even things like mowing the grass, they take the cows and the sheep in there to graze it. They're not allowed in at the moment because they're being eaten. They'll get the comments, so they'll get some nice things. So these two trees around here, the sort of wooden bits sticking up the top, those are hairy pear trees. They're very different, don't they? They're a bit deavish. They're a bit they blossom very early in the season. When the March really they start to blossom, because you can get the rest of the crops and there might not be any pollinators around at that point. So some years you just say, I'm not giving you those pears. There's only about 5% of our yield is in pears. We have got some of the modern efficient style ones in the low days. So these pears here, they look like they're them too. You see any? Whereas the apples are completely naked. They're very robust.
Have a wassail to bless the trees.
4th of January.
4th of January.
Let's do this. I should look rather.
This is the bottling plant. We're not allowed to film in here, so we'll leave you outside. Enjoy a pint. We'll see you later. And here we are again.
That's it.
So just underneath here you can see there's some kegs at the back here. Where the yellow steps go down, that's where we do our kegging in there. So we do 30 litres and 50 litres. Oh, it's a pigeon. So you can see they've got red, yellow and blue stripes. So Westons products will have red, yellow and blue. Each company has different colour banding on it, so we know which is which. To be an export or over the world. The first to go is Australia. There are 24 of these lorries, and they're out on the roads at certain overnight and coming up to Scotland, down to Southampton to the boats. Range, that's what I'm trying to think. That's a good word. Okay, so we do kegging, we do bottling, we also do canning, which was the building, as we crossed over on the left, that's the canning part. And in here they do bagging and boxing, which is for our still side.
There he is with all his kit on. This is the shop. Very well stocked.
Top behind us is at the top there. The sort of thing that would have been like in Herefordshire time, very similar to that.
What do you think?
To me, it reminds me, it's got a smell like a malt whiskey.
Yes, it has.
It's got a kind of a whiskey smell.
I've got a small one here.
Yeah, it's appley, but it's got a kind of whiskey aroma as well. It's very smooth. It's nice, isn't it? All rosy.
Very nice. Very drinkable.
It is very.
It doesn't taste strong.
It's 6.8 ABV, so it's quite strong.
Yeah.
Not as strong as the one I had though in the Cross House the other night. That was 7.5. But this is.
And didn't we know it?
We did. This you could get quite happy on with one or two of these. And I'm thinking I might need to do some more apple cider vinegar soon. That takes about 4 months to mature.
Very nice.
Apple cider vinegar. And after about 4 weeks we get cider. Last time though I left it 5 weeks and it had gone too far. But if you leave it 9 months, then you get Calvados, which is an apple brandy and very expensive.
Very nice too. Calvados, is
Yeah, Calvados is apple brandy, and it does smell quite like Calvados, but then this one is matured for 18 months, and it's served at room temperature. This one shouldn't get refrigerated, and it's more like the traditional ciders that we had when Henry Weston started his business in 1879. He went commercial in 1880, and that's more like the original cider that he would have produced, except it's lower at 6.8 ABV rather than the 10 to 15% that it would have been back then. This is the vintage. It's slightly sparkling. They do a still version of this as well. It has a light carbonation, a nice straw colour. It smells quite strongly of apples. These have got a kind of an earthy smell. This one's chilled. It's really appley. It tastes a little bit sweeter, but it's really pleasant. It's almost like drinking a dessert apple, this one, even though it's made of cider apples. Cider apples have more tannin, and you can tell if an apple has more tannin because when you cut into it, it will go brown fairly quickly on the inside. You know, where the flesh starts to go brown, that indicates that there's more tannin in that apple. Dessert apples don't have as much tannin in, so they don't go brown inside as quickly as apples that are suitable for cider making. Now this is still on the sweeter side, but it has a slightly sharp flavour on the palate. Again, it smells really strongly of apples, that lovely, sharp, sweet flavour that you get with really good apples. And again, it's a really nice straw colour with light carbonation. This is a party drink. It reminds me of Schlur in some ways, which is sweeter. I wouldn't want to drink as much of this because it's a bit on the sweet side for me. This is a vintage. It's perry, which is alcoholic pear juice. Very like a pear cider. It smells nicely of pears. They don't have as pronounced an aroma as apples. It's a very pale colour there. It's hardly straw at all. It's very pale. It's more like the colour of a dry white wine, like a Sauvignon Blanc or a Pinot Grigio. That's actually really nice. There's a slight sharpness to it. This is a still cider. It's quite tasty. You can taste the pears, but
This one's 7.4%. Dangerous.
7.4%. This is definitely closer to the cider we had the other night in the Cross House in terms of style and flavour, except that one was an apple cider rather than a pear cider or perry. But it is quite delicious actually. I could drink a couple of these. This would go really well, I think, with a claret. You could also drink it alongside food as well, or just on its own with maybe nuts or crisps in the pub. But you wouldn't want too much of it at 7.4 because when you hit the fresh air, you might suddenly be hit with a bit of the stars around your head as well. It's the sort of thing to drink that you might have seen in, say, an old film where somebody was in the field and they'd had rather too much to drink when they should be ploughing or collecting the bales of hay. This is the strongest of the vintage ciders. This one is 8.2% and it's very popular. Lovely straw colour there. Smells strongly of apples and also of just plants as well. It's got a nice sort of leaf aroma as well. It's like the orchard itself really. It's very light carbonation. Let's give this one a try. That goes down a treat. Although it's apple cider, do you remember in the 70s and 80s you got pear drops? Those sweets. It's almost like that, except it's got that more apple note, and it's not as sweet. It's got a bit of a sharpness to it, but it's not overly dry. It's very drinkable. You could drink this at parties like you would a glass of wine. It's a lot stronger. It's got more wine vibes than cider vibes. You could drink it alongside food as well. It would go really well with cheese, maybe with chicken or pork, or a nice nut roast. As desserts go though, I would have it alongside a cheese board or a ploughman's. It would go really well with those. This happens to be my favourite and it's the strongest. No surprises there. Chin chin! They've given us freebies. We've all been given a bottle of this vintage cider. This is the 8.2, which as you see is a medium dry cider. It's slightly more on the dry, which I really like, but it's very drinkable. I think that's so lovely because this whole tour was only £15 each, including the tasting and the bottles as well. This is wonderful, and it means that Dan won't miss out either. It's fantastic. Well, here we are. We've had a lovely morning and now we're going to have some lunch. We're just debating what to have. So we'll see you again soon for the next adventure. Bye for now.
Bye.